Hi guys, कैसे हैं आप? Let us discuss another topic. Evolution of Indian culture and civilization. Prehistoric period in India has been divided into different phases. First is Paleolithic period, then next is Mesolithic period, third is Neolithic period, then Chalcolithic period, then Iron Age. Robert Foote was the first who discovered first Paleolithic tool in India at Hathnora. There are many sites in India that belongs to different periods: Paleolithic period, Neolithic period, Chalcolithic period, like Didwana, Burjahom, Gulfkaral, Chirand, Chupani Mendo, Son Valley, Chintamani Gavi. There are many sites in Gujarat, Bhimbetka, Bahor. Hunting and gathering was the main occupation during Paleolithic period. Living species was living nomadic life. In Mesolithic period, living species started domestication of animals. They started paying attention to other activities. Size of the tools got smaller. And the Paleolithic period, as I already told, the various is also called as New Stone Age, Old Stone Age, because stone culture was mostly consists of stone tools. Hunting was done, painting of hunting scenes on the walls of the caves was done as leisure activity. Then there was agricultural practice that was also done by them. Then other focus. Then different phases. Fire was discovered. Then comes tool was made of copper. Then tool was made of iron. Chopper chopping tools, flakes, old one tool in stone tool industry, Acheulean stone tool industry, Mousterian stone tool industry, Organesian stone tool industry, then blade tool industry. It also happened in India. I have told you about various sites. Pottery was also discovered. Fire was also discovered. These wheel were also discovered. So this period is categorized as prehistoric. Then comes protohistoric. Protohistoric period, it covers Indus Valley civilization. It was very well planned city, urban city, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa. It was discovered by exhibited by R.D. Sani and Deram Banerjee. R.D. Banerjee and Deram Sani. Various sites of it was categorized into pre-Harappan, Harappan and post-Harappan civilization. There was granary was found, proto-Shiva was found, various seals were discovered, rice husks were discovered, fire altars were discovered. They have a unique burial system. Whether there was any religious belief, it is still debatable at present. Whether they have whether they have any sort of language or written language, their script is has been identified, but it has not been deciphered yet. There are various sites like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Chenhudaro, Banavali, Dholavira, Lothal. At some place at Lothal, for example, there was artificial dockyard that was discovered. At some place, fire altars were discovered. At some place, male torso, bearded man torso was discovered. Hunting scenes were discovered. Seals were discovered. Okay. So this was in Indus Valleys. The various theories for decline of civilization. Some say floods came. Some says river course change. Some says Aryan invasion. So there are different theories, but with the passage of time, this Harappan civilization became extinct. Either people migrated to different places due to shortage of food. Okay, there was well drainage system. There was city was divided into two parts: upper citadel and lower citadel. There was big granary over there. Okay. So contribution of the tribal cultures to the Indian civilization, there is a lot of contribution. We have festivals that are given by tribal people, like Lakshmi Puja festival, like Saraswati, like festival, like Govardhan Puja celebration. Many herbs medicine are provided by tribal societies. Even agriculture is the legacy of tribal society. Shifting cultivation is still the legacy of tribal society. We are, the modern society is doing, practicing so many things that are given by tribal societies, like herbal medicines, herbs, shifting cultivation, even pastoralism, even domestication of animals. Okay, belief in rituals. Santoshi Mata, uh, then worship of Santoshi Mata. Ji. So in India, three fossil evidences had been discovered from the Sivaliki ranges. There are two have been discovered and one from the Narmada region. They were named as Ramapithecus and Sivapithecus. They had massive mandibles. Size of brain was less small. They have foramen magnum. Yes, sagittal crest was present over there. Heavy mandible. So this the evidence that was the fossil evidence that was found in Narmada basin. It was similar to Homo erectus. These three discoveries led India on the world fossil map, and it serves as the linkage during the course of evolution of human history, human evolution. It provided the linkage. Then ethnoarchaeology means we are studying the present tribal societies and we try to understand past society. The survival and parallel. Yes, hunting is an example of survival and hunting in Indian tribal society and African tribal society are example of parallel. Similarly, fishing is an example of parallel as well as survival. On this tribe, arts and communities like Ojas, Vegas, they are practicing various asurs. They are experts in iron smelting. So this is still prevalent. Rhoda is a pastoralist community. So pastoralism is an example of survival. And pastoralism is practiced by the Rhodas in India as well as the tribal societies of Africa, Europe, North America. This is an example of parallels. Then comes demographic profile of India, ethnic and linguistic elements in the Indian population and their distribution. Indian population factors affecting structure and growth. Socioeconomic condition, environmental condition, nutritional factors, cultural factors, environment. Ethnic elements, yes. Various ethnic classification are given by B.S. Guha, H.S. Risley, and Sarkars. Like Indian population is divided into various groups: Protostoloid, Nordic, Alpinoid, Brachycephalic, Cephals, Protostoloid, Indo-Aryans, Dravidian. Indian had four main ethnic groups. Various linguists and about Irano-Scythians, Indo-Aryan, Mongolo-Dravidian, Aryo-Dravidian, Paleo-Dravidian, Dravidian, Far Easterns, Mundari speakers. There are various ethnic elements that are found in the population. And various linguistic elements, like we have four groups of languages: Indo-European, Second is Proto-Astrolide. Third is Dravidian. Fourth is Tibeto-Burmese group. Like languages are Khasi, Garo, Kashmiri, Ladakhi. Okay. Then there are the structure and nature of the Indian traditional social system. इसमें फिर it includes Varnashrama, Varnas, four Varnas, and four Ashramas. There are four Purusharthas: Dharam, Kam, Dharam. I'm forgetting something. Then there is uh, karmas, four karmas. Rinas, there are three rinas: Pitra rina, Guru rina, Dev rina. Then moksha, four purusharthas: dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. Then various ashrams: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas ashrams. Varnas, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Shudras, and Vaishyas. There are various caste systems in India. This is basically the social hierarchy on the basis of by birth and by occupation. There are various theories: divine theory of origin of caste. There are various dominant castes studied by Aman Srinivasan. Caste mobility, there is a caste mobility, upward mobility, downward mobility, future of caste system, Jajmani system. W.H. Weiser was studied the Jajmani system. There are Jajmanis, there are Kamins. There is a linkage interaction between the Jajmans and Kamins, like Dhobi, Nai. They provide service to the Jajmans, and Jajmans provide food to the Kamins. Tribal caste continuum studied by LP Vidyarthi. Kond and Oriya tribe have features of tribe as well as caste. People, dominant caste. There are, for example, Nayars in Kerala. There are Jats in Punjab, Gujars in Rajasthan, Jats in Haryana. So they have numerical more strength. They have some political influence also. They have large quantity of cultivable land. All these are the characteristics of dominant caste. Then sacred complex. LP Vidyarthi studied the sacred complex of Bodh Gaya, categorized into three components. There are sacred specialists perform pujas, yajna. There are sacred geography, the area surrounding the Bodh Gaya. Sacred geography, sacred specialists, the pandits who perform these rituals, customs, traditions. Sacred complex and nature man spirit complex was studied in Melar tribal society. And who studied this? LP Vidyarthi. So, Melar depend on nature for their survival. This worship spirit, and they had also practiced shifting cultivation. So there is impact of Buddhism, Jainism, Christian on Indian society. They have influenced politically, impact on political life, impact on economic life, impact on socio-cultural life, impact on religion, impact on tradition. There are different anthropologists of 18th century, 19th century, 20th century, and they have led to the emergence and the growth and the development of anthropology in India. Anthropological department was established at Calcutta University. Before that, Asiatic Society of Bengal was established by William Jones. After that, number of it is divided into various phases, formative phase, then growth phase, then analytical phase, then evaluation phase. Various village studies were carried out, as I already discussed. Various tribal studies were carried out that I have discussed with you by different anthropologists, made Aman Srinivasan, Guha, H.S. Risley, Sarkar, L.P. Vidyarthi, maybe foreign anthropologists like Verrier Alvin, E.B. Tyler, McKim Marriott, Milton Singer, Iyer, British administrators, Hemmendorf, Robert Bruce, Foote. Okay, so contribution of Indian anthropologists. This was all about contribution of Indian anthropologists towards tribal and caste studies and village studies, Indian villages. So village study was very important because India resides in villages. 70% of the population resides in villages. Indian village is basically a social system, social interaction, socio-cultural interaction, different cultures, different traditions, different belief system. There are changing patterns of settlement in Indian villages. Various, let us discuss various forms of patterns like nebular, circular, rectangular, linear, triangular, and there are different intercaste relations like Jajmani system. There is agrarian relations in Indian villages, and there is impact of globalization in Indian villages. They are connected they are with the whole world. They are getting advanced. They are moving towards governance is being done in village through e-governance. Villagers are improving their standard of living. There is a globalization that has an impact on Indian villages. There has been contribution of anthropologists towards tribal and caste studies. There are various languages and linguistic minorities. Education is being provided to them. Socioeconomic condition is being improved. Literacy level is being improved. Mortality rate is very high. In child Infanticide, female infanticide is high, still high. So there are various religious minorities like Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Parsis. Linguistic minorities are also there. So many measures are being taken. Various central government schemes, various state government schemes for the work of the various religious and linguistic minorities. And constitution is also providing these linguistic minorities for the upliftment. They are defined in the constitution. Bolo. Linguistic minorities, religious minorities, socioeconomic condition is very poor. They are literacy rate is poor. They are under poverty. Government is doing tremendous job. Various schemes, policies being initiated for the policies are there for their upliftment. They have educational institutions specifically for the minorities. Education is being imparted in their mother tongue to the linguistic minorities. There are schools in the tribal areas, colleges in the tribal areas. The jobs unemployment rate is very high. Government is trying every effort to improve their rate of employment. Language and religious minorities. Then comes indigenous and exogenous process of socio-cultural change in Indian society. Indigenous and exogenous process of socio-cultural change in the Indian society like centralization, westernization, modernization, little tradition, great tradition, universalization, proclamation, and intertradition and great tradition were studied by uh, Milton Singer and Mackim Marriott. All this comes under delayed studies, sociocultural change, westernization is being influenced, Sanskritization is being going on as studied by Eman Srinivasan. There is a role of media, there is a social change due to media, social media. Then tribal situation in India. Biogenetic variability. Yes, there is a biogenetic variability, and there are linguistic and socio-economic characteristics of their tribal population in distribution. Tribal situation in India. That is, there is socio-economic characteristics. They have different socio-economic characteristics. They have different biogenetic variability. They have different languages, or we can say that biogenetic variability and socioeconomic characteristics, linguistic characteristics of their tribal population and distribution. They are distributed. They have different languages. They have different. You can say some are doing hunting and gathering. Some are doing pastoralism. Some are doing art and craft. Some are doing music. Some are doing iron smelting. Okay. Some are in agricultural labor. Some are doing jobs. Some are into Indian administrative service. So their socioeconomic conditions is improving day by day of tribal population. They are living in North India, they are living in South India, they are living in East India, they are living in Central India, they are living in Northern states like Garo, Khasi, Northeast states, Gaddis, Gujars in North India, Todas, Begas in South India, Bhils in West India, then Mundas, Santhals in Central India. Okay, there are many tribes, thousands of tribes living in India. They have biogenetic variability because of environmental factors, because of genetic factors. They have different socioeconomic characteristics because of environmental factors, because of genetic factors, because of environment, because of the government, because of their isolation from the mainstream people. They have facing so many problems like indebtedness, like rehabilitation, like literacy rate, poverty, indebtedness, malnutrition, poor education facilities, unemployment, underemployment, health and nutrition. There are various development projects and they are impacting the lives of tribals. For example, iron and steel industry in Jharkhand and Bokaro, steel industry in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. They are displaced, thousands of tribals, and they are landless, they are poor, they are indebted and indebtedness, they have poverty, they are underemployed. There is forest policy was not favorable. British designed their forest policy wants to exploit the forest, but it was they had dependence on forest for food. So government now came, government came for the upliftment, developed forest policy that tribals are part and parcel of forest. They can consume some amount of forest produce for the livelihood, for improve their socio-economic condition. Okay. Impact of urbanization and industrialization. There are forest policy. Okay. Then there is scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. They are recognized by the constitution under Article 324. All those stars that are included under Article 324 are, I think, are 340 or 324. I don't remember exact article, but they are given recognition by the constitution. They have representation panchayats level. They have parliament representation. They are provided reservation in jobs. They are provided reservation in educational facilities. So there are many constitutional safeguards for scheduled tribes and scheduled castes. They have fundamental rights like right against exploitation, like untouchability, like okay. Then comes various democratic institutions like urban local bodies, means panchayats. They are being extended to tribal areas, and there are so many development programs, development schemes, welfare measures on tribal and weaker sections of the society, welfare measures and development programs. There are a lot of at both ethnicity, ethnic conflicts and political developments. There are issues of ethnic issues like issue of Kashmir has some ethnic angle, issue of Nagaland, Bodoland have some ethnic element in it. Khalistan has some ethnic element in it. Issue of that there are some parties that are formed on basis of ethnic conflict like DMK, like TMK, like Akali. They are have some ethnic base for their formation of such parties, regional parties. Then political development. There are unrest among the tribal communities due to various uh, less of development programs and less welfare measures. अब ऑटोनॉमी की डिमांड होती है रीजनलिज्म से, हमें ऑटोनॉमी चाहिए. सम आर डिमांडिंग फॉर सेशनिज्म, सम आर डिमांडिंग फॉर separate state, some are demanding for development councils, some are demanding for different demands they are putting up. Okay, and there are ethnic conflicts, and there are different developments like form of regional parties. There are unrest among the tribal communities. Okay, and there is a demand of regionalism, assassinationism, then separate for statehood, then more autonomy. Okay. Or there is a sure lot of social change among the tribes during colonial and post-colonial independence India, and there has been impact of Hindu, Muslim, Buddhism, Christian, Islam on the tribal communities. Some have become Muslims, some have changed to schools have been started by Christian missionaries. Then NGOs are doing great job. Islam, they have adopted some Islam practices of tribals. Tribe and Nation State, comparative study of tribal states in India and other countries. So there are, yes, tribal communities living in India, and different communities. They have different they have comparative study can be done. So which tribes have similarities with Indian tribes, and which have dissimilarities with Indian tribes. We can study it and try to adapt the good practices of the other governments for other countries government that have done for the socio-economic political upliftment of the tribal society. So NGOs is doing commendable job for the tribal welfare. They are doing job, providing job to the tribal people. They are running schools. They are providing in employment to tribal communities. They are creating awareness about public health, sanitation, clean drinking water, role of anthropology in rural and tribal development. Yes, anthropology is helping tribe policymakers in every way for the tribal as well as for the rural development, because in village they are doing village studies, they are doing tribal studies, they are studying socio-economic problems of tribes as well as rural people. They are studying literacy rate, they are studying nutritional level, they are studying the various exploitation, how they are being exploited in tribal areas, how what is the benefit of forest for the tribals, and what is the benefit of integrating the tribals, how to increase the productivity in agriculture, how to help them in pastoralism and this domestication, and how to help in agriculture. Anthropologists are providing guidance to the policy makers for the upliftment of the rural community as well as the tribal communities. Now there has been contribution, anthropologists also contributing a lot to the study of communalism and regionalism and ethnic and political movement. Because why there is a concept of regionalism, why they are attached to their own religion, then why there is a hatred, feeling of suspicion towards other communities. Okay, why there are ethnic movements, there are political movements, there are many movements that has ethnic basis, that has regionalism basis, that has communalism basis. How anthropologists helping the policymakers to understand the root cause of communalism, the regionalism, the political movements, and how to tackle with this kind of issues or any socio-economic implications of such political movements. And anthropology is adopting cultural relativism, laying focus on field study culture anthropology. There are many, for example, yeah, expedition in the various tribal areas carried out by various anthropologists, like AC head-on expedition to the British Columbia, expedition to the South Galapagos Island to collect the first hand information about the tribal peoples. So they contributed a lot for the upliftment of the to address the issue of communalism, regionalism and political movements. चैनल को लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और शेयर करें. थैंक्स गाइस, हैव a nice day.